Hello, nice to see you. Today we're going to rewatch an old Amber video. This video is called Tommy Rumours. One of the benefits of Amber having this massive break that she's been having is that it gives us time to comb back over the past drama that happened and some of the stuff that I think has been sort of not ignored, but it kind of got brushed aside when all of the Aunt Tammy drama happened, was the Amber Emily fiasco, and the fact that Amber basically said during these videos that she wanted to talk to Megan, who was the person who was kind of popularised under the name in girl world, the diabetic in the basement. This video, Tommy Rumours, was posted on the 16th of November, which is the day before Rarity went missing, and we know that at the time Amber and Emily's relationship was very turbulent. There was lots of fighting going on, and it's very interesting now, with the benefit of hindsight, to watch this Tommy Rumours video and retake in how Amber acts and what she says with all of the context that we have now, because I think that will be quite an interesting thing to talk about. I've seen a couple of other reactors do a similar thing, and I'm excited to kind of sink our teeth into this one, so that's what we're going to do today. I also just want to chuck a couple of quick updates here. So Aunt Tammy had a fourth interview or phone call with Jordy on a live stream, and in that live stream she confirmed that she was suing Amber for slander and that the amount she was seeking was $10,000 and that she wanted a public apology.
But it still is a very big accusation to put somebody that it's on there forever. So the most important thing was ownership of, and an apology. And then in small claims court, the highest in Oklahoma you can go is $10,000. Other, talk was I could have probably got upward over $50,000 easily, just for the mental stress of it alone.
That's just to keep you updated. Also, since my previous video where I mentioned this mysterious person making privacy claims or privacy complaints against Studio Deets, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the 16-minute mark of this video. Since I talked about it, Hector Kana talked about it, a bunch of people mentioned it, this person has deleted their YouTube, which they only made so that they could make these complaints. So I think this is probably going to play out in Studio Deets' favour. I also know she's got a lot of evidence, so I'm hoping that this is going to kind of disappear now. Also, this is the last video I'm making, I think, unless anything crazy happens, before I go on holiday. If you want to see holiday pics and me lying in the sun and reading about 100,000,000 books, you can go and follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is @RachelThePythons. Okay, Amber, let's go.
Hello.
Hello,
Welcome
darling.
to a new video.
Thank you.
So this is not clickbait. Yes, I will be talking about the things that are being said about Tommy. So
I love how she has to tell us that it's not clickbait because she knows she's so famous for her clickbaiting ways. Also, do know, as I've said, this video was filmed on the 16th or released on the 16th of November. So that's the day before Rarity went missing. So things are tense in the house. Amber's being regularly betrayed. She's not happy, according to her stories. So just bear that in mind, that that's the situation we're in. Also, it's quite interesting to me, I don't really know why, to see Amber, this was 9 months ago, she looks better here. She looks like she's more put together, perhaps. We haven't seen her looking put together like this for a while. We've just seen ragey live streams. Also, it is worth noting that, as far as I can decipher, at this time when this video was made, she hadn't uploaded in quite a long time. She was having a really long break. All of these Tommy rumours were happening, and then she came out and made this video. Okay, I'm gonna let her carry on now.
I actually already have a couple videos, really exciting videos and happy videos filmed. I don't have them edited yet or anything like that, but I do have them up. That was what was going to be going up next. But since this has happened, I feel compelled. There are a lot of times where rumors are happening and things are being said where I just keep my mouth shut. Maybe I'll mention it on the low, maybe on Instagram or just in passing. But this video is strictly dedicated.
I mean, that's not true. She's made strictly dedicated live streams and strictly dedicated videos to every single rumour that's ever been made about her. And since this video was made, she launched her whole Let's Talk series, which was just dedicated to answering rumours about her. She loves to address a rumour, and she always has, ever since the beginning of her channel. It's just part of her brand.
I even wrote something because I wanted to be in a clear mind. And as you guys know, I love to write. I love to journal. I'm able to collect my thoughts so much better in writing versus like speaking out loud. You guys know me. Like, your girl can't speak half the time.
So just then when she goes, you girls know me, you guys know me, like, and she says like in a funny voice, it's one of her tells. If she's lying, she sometimes does a funny voice. And in this part of the video, she's trying to claim and make it sound like she wrote this. But when you read it, it reads like a statement. It doesn't read like a journal entry. So she's trying to justify, I love writing, I'm a journaler, I'm going to read to you from my journal. No, this is a pre-prepared statement that was probably written mostly by Emily. And there's a few little bits where you can tell that. It's just Emily trying to get her narrative across, because this, of course, is about what happened with Megan, who's the name of the person who was in the basement, kept there allegedly by Emily and forced to have protein shakes even though they were diabetic. This is Amber doing damage control. I'm amazed, and it feels kind of strange to see her on an actual video, because now she would just go live and make it a million times worse.
And I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of anxiety right now filming this video. And when I am anxious, my brain does not work correctly. Like, words do not come out correctly. I just feel very, like, a lot. It just feels like a lot right now. So I decided to write.
I always find it funny where she tries to describe her feelings, but she just says it's a lot. She doesn't actually describe any actual feelings.
Like, in journal form, the way that I would write in my journal. And I am going to read it to you guys because it's going to help me, because I do feel very anxious and I do want to like have collective thoughts. I don't want to forget anything. And this is very important to me that I get this out in this moment. So before I read it...
And she's doing a lot of preamble, a lot of talking, a lot of explaining why she's reading this thing, which comes across to me as just her justifying the fact that she's reading it, which makes it even less likely that it's just an excerpt from her journal. This is also not her style. She tries to make out that this is something she does a lot. It really isn't. We don't get a lot of prepared statements from Amber, not really. We get a lot of rambling and half thoughts and pausing and stopping. So this is not true to her brand, and it certainly doesn't align with her normal behaviour.
I just want to explain, like, in short form, this is about a reaction channel who was contacted by Tommy's ex-girlfriend's ex-wife. And this woman was immediately put on a pedestal, and everything that she said was believed. People have taken everything that she said as gospel and as truth, because a lot of you want someone to hate, and it's easy for you guys to hate Tommy.
Okay, so Amber wants to make it sound like everybody just believed this person and nobody asked for receipts and nobody gave Jordy any flack. That is not the case. Jordy got a lot of pushback for doing this. People did not by any means just believe it. Jordy said, allegedly, he said, I'm going to be the in-between, I'm going to be the mediator, or the, like, teller of the story, basically, and he gave this woman an opportunity to share her story. Sure, he did it slightly tongue-in-cheek, and he did dig Emily out for it, but you have to remember that by that point, we had already seen everything that Emily had done. We knew about Colleen, we knew about all of that stuff. So it's not like Jordy was just jumping to random conclusions. We had good reason to side-eye Emily, which also leads me into my next point, which is Amber saying, you guys just want a reason to hate Emily. We've got video evidence and photographic evidence of Emily lying on her ex's stomach, taking photos with her ex and all of that stuff, who was massive. We found Emily's feeder pages and profiles and all of that. We saw the funeral video where Emily was speaking at her ex's funeral. We knew the ex had passed away, sadly. So this concept that Amber is trying to spin here, that we just want a reason to hate Emily, is absolutely wild. Even more so when you take into account here that at this time, according to Amber's recent revelations in her live streams, she had seen the large lady on the oxygen mask.
And the picture that is so engraved in my brain that made my whole soul leave my body was this woman on an oxygen tank in a hospital bed. And then in that same moment, I find her on Phoebe, which is where the feeders go to do their thing. Literally, the day that we met in person, she messaged a girl saying how sexy she was. She messaged another masked lesbian feeder saying, wow, we're rare. Masked lesbian feeders.
So when Amber makes this video, she knows everything there is to know about what kind of person Emily is, what she's done. Amber is saying to all of us, her audience, you guys just want a reason to hate Emily, but she knows everything about Emily at this point. So it's very interesting that she would get on camera and do this, when by this point, according to her, Emily has already been very, very awful to her. So it's very interesting.
for whatever reason. You guys don't know her in person like I do, and I'm telling you, she is lovable and likable, and I am happy and in love with her.
Yeah, so the fact that she just said that sentence is absolutely wild, because at the time they were fighting every day, having all kinds of problems. Emily was scared to come home, or that was literally the following day after this video was posted. And Emily had already asked Amber to leave multiple times. Like, things were not good in their house at this point. So it is just wild with that hindsight to see this video.
And I know a lot of people want to like twist this like really dark narrative, but I'm telling you, it's not real. So I'm sorry I couldn't be like a little more put together, and I'm sorry that I'm bad with my words. The fact that I have to literally look like this and read to you guys, but it's what is gonna work best for me, which I have done this before, and it's usually only during like super like anxiety inducing situations for me. And I do it in my real life as well. There are multitude of times in my life where instead of like speaking to someone, I will write something.
So much justification for why she's reading this, which makes it even more likely that she's reading it because Emily told her to.
And then I'll read it off to them. It's helpful, it's therapeutic. I learned it years and years ago, actually in therapy, probably like when I was like 17 or something. And ever since then, it has greatly helped me. But I am sorry that I will be facing this way the whole time. But
it's like, oh my God, just read it. Just read it.
Yeah, please hear me. Like, please hear me. I know there's a difference between like listening to someone and that's that, goes in one ear and out the other, and you build your assumptions and you don't really care. But like, I need you guys to hear what I am saying. Please.
So basically, Amber in this specific situation has seen the story of the other person, of Megan, in the interview with Jordy, and she's asked her girlfriend Emily about it. Emily's told her a story which Amber has believed, even though, according to Amber, she is currently being betrayed and by Emily in this period of time when she made this video, or at least that's what she wants us to believe. I rather think it's Amber who's the one who was being abusive. But knowing that information and seeing Emily being like that around her, according to her, she still made this video and called the other person the perpetrator and called Emily the victim, which is wild when you take into consideration what we've seen Amber allege since.
I truly hate that I have to do this. I want my channel to reflect what's real in my life and not constantly having to make videos like this, defending Tommy's character because...
She just said constantly having to make videos like this, but then at the beginning of the video she says, oh, I don't make videos like this very often. Usually I just address it in passing. So do you make videos like this a lot, or do you not?
Of a reaction channel who is so hungry for views and money and hot tea that they have created a whole false storyline that has thousands and thousands of people believing it.
Yeah, so it's crazy because she's trying to accuse Jordy here of making the false storyline. Jordy didn't make it. He shared the story of somebody else. Sure, he made a few embellishments and assumptions, but basically, on the whole, Jordy just read messages from another person, which he's entitled to do. So it's not like Jordy's the one who pushed this narrative. This narrative was pushed by the person who did it. And remember, there was proof. We saw the charges. I'll put a screenshot of the charges here. So those are the things that the ex-partner was accused of doing to Emily, which does look bad. And the storyline that Jordy was pushing was, well, what did Emily do to provoke this behaviour in this person?
I truly don't think in my heart that she could have done what she did without being seriously provoked. So going back to the night of the domestic charges, going back to this, everything that happened that night that resulted in what is up on the screen right now, this was all due to her being seriously provoked. If you push someone, and all of this happened on the screen due to a result of, a pretty toxic environment she was in.
And Amber makes out in a second that Emily was the victim, but later, in these recent live streams, she says that she was pushed and pushed and pushed by Emily, and then she finally snapped.
I have never experienced someone like you in my life. And in this moment, I wish more than anything I could talk to your ex, Megan. Megan, if you are watching this, or if someone knows Megan, have her talk to me. I would do anything to talk to you. Because at this point, I don't know. I would do anything just to speak to you personally. I will never share anything, but I need someone who understands because this is fucking crazy.
Which is exactly what Jordy expected or proposed may have been what happened to Megan, who was the diabetic in the basement. So it's just really funny how Amber has no integrity, no sense of what is true and what is right. She will just flip-flop depending on whichever narrative she's trying to spin us, whether she likes Emily or she doesn't like Emily. She'll say whatever needs to be said to achieve whatever goal she wants to achieve, and it's just really interesting to see it happen.
It's unfair to me. And it's unfair to Tommy. This is not the first time this reaction channel has done this. They have platformed a few people as long as they were willing to spill tea and share whatever could cause me or other people in my life to look bad for their benefit.
So, I mean, Jordy is a reaction channel. Jordy's job is to talk about the drama. At the end of the day, Amber has a massive platform and can share whatever she wants. So if there's somebody who's in the situation or adjacent to the situation who wants to borrow the platform of a reaction channel to share their side, I don't personally have a problem with it.
Been some serious misrepresentations made in a recent video.
So that word misrepresentations is not a word that Amber knows. That is a word that was written by Emily. I would honestly stake my life on it.
On that reaction channel about an extremely painful chapter in Tommy's life. The video, which talks about
also the phrase, sorry, I took a second to swallow there, but the phrase a chapter in somebody's life, again, don't really think that's very Amberlynn Reid coded. Sorry if there's random cuts in this video and you can see my nose getting progressively more red. I have really bad hay fever today. Anyway, carry on, Amber.
Domestic situation involving Tommy and her ex fails to include important facts, so it paints a false and harmful narrative. And I want to be very clear. Tommy is the victim here, not the one at fault. The details in the video were based on inaccurate and incomplete information from a third party with a clear agenda.
I think that is actually kind of a fair point to make. The person who spoke to Jordy did clearly want revenge on Emily for taking her wife. So I can understand that you would look at that person's story with something of a magnifying glass and you'd be like, is that true? Does that make sense? But that's what people did. We didn't listen and go, oh my God, so it must all be true. People were careful and critical and looked at it carefully because that's what we do in Girl World. We don't just go, oh my God, someone hates Amber, so it must be true. That's not what happens, despite Amber wanting to make it seem that way. I do think that this person had an agenda, but that's okay. You can have an agenda and still tell the story. And people were aware that it was a third-hand story. Nobody tried to make out like they were Megan telling the story. Everybody was honest about their stance on it, including Jordy, and including the person who told the story. So I think that's okay. Everybody disclosed their bias at the beginning of the video, and to me, that's what matters. Amber just thinks that maybe it's because it's what she does. You hear something and therefore you believe it. I think that's because that's what she does. She thinks that everybody else does that, but we don't.
Someone who has openly stated that their goal was to get revenge for their own personal reasons, and even admitted that they've tried to get revenge in the past. This kind of victim shaming is not only misleading, it's downright disgusting. It wasn't a simple incident in a garage. As you can see from the charges listed about Tommy's ex, there was a weapon involved. A weapon. Please just...
The way she says that is just so... She's trying so hard to be so serious. And it is serious if there was a weapon involved. And the ultimate truth and the absolute truth that we all have to admit is that we don't know what happened in that house. We don't know. Even the person who told the story, who was the ex-wife of Megan, who was the girl who was with Emily in the basement, even that person is telling that story secondhand. And technically, we're hearing Jordy tell her story that she got from another person. And you're now hearing me tell Jordy's story, who's telling this person's story, who's telling Megan's story. So this is, as Amber loves to call it, a game of telephone.
Hello.
It has just passed along the grapevine. So I would be very careful to give any kind of opinion about what actually happened there, because every story, as I know, changes depending on who's telling it. What's more interesting to me here would be to slice this clip of Amber saying that Emily was the victim with a recent clip where Amber says that she's desperate to talk to Megan and she wants so badly to talk to Megan. This is somebody who she got online, even though she was in an abusive relationship with Megan's ex-partner, she still got online and called it victim blaming and said that Tommy was the victim and Megan was the perpetrator. She then later did a complete 180 on that when she wanted to look like a victim herself and she wanted to try and claim that she was a victim of DV. That is when she suddenly wanted to talk to Megan. It's just like poor character from her. It's actually shocking.
And I want to let everyone know that, like, The random, like, video recordings that she would do of me, she also did it to Megan while Megan was naked. And I've seen it with my own eyeballs. I've seen it with my own eyes. Emily would push and push and push Megan until Megan would react the same way I did.
Tommy is the victim here.
But just watching this after the fact, knowing what she then went on to say about Megan, it's really strange. It just shows she has got no integrity.
Think about that for a minute. With multiple ways to escape a garage, Tommy couldn't. Think about why. The truth is that her abuser was charged with felony charges for their actions, and Tommy has spent years working on healing and working through trauma her ex caused. A lot of people are saying that Tommy must have provoked her into holding her hostage with a weapon for hours. If that were true, Tommy's ex would not have been convicted.
That's not true. So you can be provoked into something and you still do it. You absolutely are responsible for it. This just shows again Amber's mindset. She thinks if somebody pushes you into something or makes you feel a certain way, you're suddenly not responsible for your actions, which is complete and total bullshit. Insert the clips here of Amber claiming that she was provoked into her behaviour towards Emily.
I've heard about reactive abuse, and I'm gonna go ahead and say the way that I would react, my reaction to the way that she would treat me, or my reaction to the lies, my reaction to the betrayal, my reaction to the secrets, my reaction to the emotional abuse, etc., can absolutely be seen as.
There are clips of Amber claiming this exact offence, saying she was pushed and provoked and that her abuse was reactive to Emily. So she really doesn't understand how it works. Things that you do are your responsibility regardless of why you did them. You still chose to do them.
Provoking someone or self-defense, it would not have gotten her ex convicted for the millionth time. Period. It's incredibly hurtful to see the narrative twisted in this way, and I feel compelled to speak out because no one should ever be made to feel like they are the perpetrator when they are the victim.
That is such a powerful line. Nobody should be made to feel like they are the perpetrator when they are the victim. And then just watch these clips of Amber lying about injuries to Emily's arm and trying to say that the pictures were sent 2 days later when they were actually sent on the same day. Physical evidence, marks on Emily's skin of her being physically hurt by Amber. But in that exact video, she is trying to claim that Emily is the one who hurt her when actually there's proof of the opposite being true. I'm not defending Emily. I think Emily's weird and gross, and I don't know what part she may or may not have played in it. Emily, if you see this video, I'm sorry for calling you gross. I'd love to interview you. DM me at Rachel the Python. But no, I'm kidding. But I'm not saying Emily's a pure innocent victim, but I'm saying she's definitely at least somewhat one of the victims of Amber. We've seen proof of that in the arm photos. So the irony of Amber sitting here saying it's really bad to make out that somebody's the victim when they're the perpetrator, when they're the victim, when that's exactly what she goes on to do about an incident which occurs the day after this video was filmed. I love these retro reacts. Amber's almost more interesting to watch and analyse after the fact, when some time has passed, because you've got more context and you can really see her lies.
Domestic violence is a serious issue, and we should be lifting up those who have suffered, not blaming them.
Insane that she would say that. She has other exes, I think Jade, Crystal, other people, Beck, who she not necessarily was always physically violent to, although I think there were some cases, she threw that can of whatever it was at Destiny's head. She was accused by Casey of beating him up. So the fact that she would say this, come on camera and make this video, it was crazy at the time. It's even more crazy now. She's just unbelievable.
By Tommy because I know the full story, and I've known the full story the whole time.
The fact that you think you could know the full story from being told one person's side just shows how gullible and naive and close-minded she is.
These people have decided to leave out, and I quote, "I don't want to go into details." That is what this person said.
Okay, put the clip here of Amber saying that she doesn't want to go into detail talking about what happened between her and Tommy.
I'm not going to sit here and go into detail whatsoever. I'm not going to go into detail. All the personal shit, I'm not even going to go into detail in this moment unless she wants to pop off. I'll pop off and react back. Okay, I don't want to go into detail. Genuinely, I don't.
That is an example of Amber alleging that there was a situation of some sort of physical altercation, and she's discussing DV and her relationship with Emily, and she says that famous phrase, "I don't want to go into detail." She is such a fucking hypocrite.
When talking about Tommy being falsely imprisoned by her ex. Why? because it would leave people empathizing with Tommy.
It's just the amazing irony. God, I love irony. She tells a story where she is falsely imprisoning Emily. She's standing all, however wide she is, blocking the door, stopping Emily from leaving, making Emily feel like she's trapped, which is something that Emily claims is very triggering for her. And Amber knows that because in this video, the day before, she's talking about Emily's experience of trauma and how Emily wasn't able to get out of the basement. And Amber did the next day the exact same thing. Here is the clip of Amber admitting that she did try and stop Emily leaving and she would block doors and follow her around the house.
The tantrum slowly escalated each time. I started with her just shouting at me to escalating to her slamming doors and punching walls. That never fucking happened. I think I slammed a door one time because I was so fed up. I went to a different room, slammed the door. I was done. Like the betrayal, the gaslighting, the stonewalling, the cruelty, the fat jokes. I never punched a wall. Anytime I tried leaving the room, she would block doorways. She was also really jealous. I was very jealous. I'm a very jealous person in relationships. I've been very honest about that. Got to the point where I started going into the other room just to sleep because she wouldn't stop arguing with me when I was trying to rest before a shift. That happened one time.
It's just so funny watching her accuse somebody else of false imprisonment, which they may well have done. I'm sure they did. Well, there's charges, right? So it looks like it did happen. But Amber then, literally the following night, goes on to do the same thing to Emily. It's just so, there's just a kind of, I don't know, a poetic, grim, dark, poetic beauty to the way that this has cycled around. This video aged so badly. I think the top comment on this video is, or at least one of the newest comments is, well, this aged like milk or something like that. It's just fascinating.
Instead, this person has exaggerated, lied, left out important information, and continues to create outrage against Tommy because they want revenge.
That is exactly what Amber did when she got on the live stream, this one here, where she lied and exaggerated because she wanted revenge against Tommy, because Emily, sorry, I keep calling her Tommy, against Emily, because Emily spoke to Mr. Snowflake. When you put those two videos beside each other, it is so fascinating to watch it happen.
The only way they know how to do it, and I want to make something very clear, that the abuse that Tommy endured is real, and she deserves justice and support, not ridicule and not doubt. She definitely does not deserve a reaction channel making a spectacle over something that Tommy has spent years trying to heal from.
The way that she's speaking as well, we have to remember that she claims at the beginning of this video, this is just a journal entry. She's reading to us from her journal, but this is a prepared statement. The way she is talking is a prepared, orchestrated statement, which has a goal, has an agenda, if you like. It's so funny that she tries to make it seem like that's not what this is, and the more she reads and the further we get into the video, we're further away from her claiming that it's just a journal entry. But we can see so clearly she did not write this. No way.
Having this come to light, speculated about and joked about, has left a bad taste in my mouth, and I'll tell you that for sure.
And you can tell because she looks away and she goes back to her like fake head tilt and goes, I can tell you that for sure. And you can tell she's gone off script there.
I have been distant from YouTube already due to the harsh things that have been said and have been lied about. Certain reaction channels have only gotten worse as the time goes on. She says she's distant because of things that have been lied about. The things that she was talking about at the time were reaction channels calling Emily a feeder. At this point in the video, she already knows that Emily is a feeder. She knows it's true. She's been asked to eat chicken nuggets. She's had her legs touched and looked at. She's laid on Emily while she M-worded herself. So it's just absolutely so... I don't even know if funny is the right word. I nearly can't articulate the right word for it. There's just something so wild about her saying this and making this video and accusing reaction channels of doing this when at the time of filming this video, she knew Emily was a feeder and she knew that the reaction channels were all right. My channel has been boring. It went through a law, so they've been starving. Because of that, they've lost their minds and they're actively painting a narrative about Tommy that isn't real. Amber's channel is boring, but she made so much money from the recent Tammy dramas. She's made enough money to pay for the court case. What she doesn't seem to realise is that everyone, including her, does better when there's drama going on because people, that's what they're here for. Girl World is arguably a drama community and that's what people want. So she can't be that angry when people do the thing that fills up her bank account, you know? That's how it's always worked. in anonymous strangers to the storyline and believing every word that is being said, all while using the word allegedly. So YouTube terms of service isn't broken by them, and so the law doesn't get involved for actual slander and defamation.
Interesting. I forgot that she mentioned slander and defamation in this video. I don't think that there was ever slander or defamation happening here. Jordy purposefully said allegedly because he knew it was alleged. He did say allegedly to avoid problems with YouTube terms of service. That's absolutely true because he admitted in the video that he did say allegedly for that reason.
Everything that I am going to be disclosing you tonight is from a third party, so to speak. It is all alleged, but I don't believe that this person has any reason to tell lies. I don't believe that this person has anything to benefit from it. I did not pay this person. I did not encourage this person to say certain things. I did not try to. All they did was say what they needed to say, and I am going to function as a medium, as a middleman, and use my platform to let you all, the lovely people of the internet, know what went on.
And this is Amber's consistent defense. She tries to make out that people believe anything that's bad that's said about her just because it's about her. And that's not true. That's not what we do. When people make accusations against Amber, we compare it to the evidence and we question, is that likely? Do we believe that? She just talks out of her shelf.
If you guys ever wanted to know what slander and defamation looks like, it has been months and months of what Tommy has been experiencing since certain reaction channels found out who she was.
That is wild. If you actually want to know what slander and defamation looks like, you need look no further than Amberlynn Reid's recent live stream. Watch this.
He is speaking to someone who stayed married to a PDF, someone who children. And you know what my aunt did? She forced these little kids to say that they were lying.
You've all seen it, but that is slander, I think. Saying something about somebody, accusing them of something verbally when you don't have any proof and you haven't seen any proof to think that thing is true and that thing is not true, that is slander. Us seeing Emily's account on FetLife where she says that she lives it every day and photos of her being crushed by her ex's stomach and then calling her a feeder is not slander. That's using your brain to analyse evidence. Oh, she's a silly sausage.
This has altered Tommy's life, and I have witnessed it. It has also altered mine. Without revealing how, I'm pretty sure it's apparent. Imagine something like this happening to you. Thank you to those who have been supportive and continue to believe in the truth and don't follow the crowd. I see you, and I'm sorry that the hate and the rumors are louder right now, but I still see you, and I love you dearly. To those spreading misinformation, I hope you take a moment to consider the impact your words have and the harm caused when the real victims are silenced or blamed. It's
crazy when there's video of her blaming Emily and calling her physically abusive when there are photos of Emily's arm with nail marks in them and documented proof of Amber lying about those photos. Wild to me that she would have said this and then the next day, literally, this was filmed on the 16th, then on the 17th she dug her nails into Emily's skin. Crazy. My God, I'm laughing. Sorry, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing out of irony and just the hilarity of being this ignorant.
Easy for reaction channels to say whatever they want because they know their words have impact and their audience believes whatever is said to them.
But if that's true and we know that our words have impact, then we would be more careful what we say. And it is objectively untrue that reaction channels' audiences believe everything they say. My comments are full of debate and discussion and people saying, oh, Rachel, actually you missed this, or did you consider this, or well, I saw this video. It's not, oh my God, you're so amazing, everything you just said is 100% true. No, it's a debate down there because you guys all have fucking brains, as do I, and we use them to consider and analyse and discuss. We don't just go, oh, I'm a zombie, I hate Amberlynn, everything people say about her is true. Sure, there are probably people like that out there, but those people have no critical thinking skills. Anytime she doesn't have control of the narrative, she's uncomfortable, and that's exactly what we're seeing right here and what we saw throughout all of the recent live stream era where she just completely embarrassed herself.
This situation just proves it. Tommy was majorly abused, held hostage for hours.
By you.
In a garage with a weapon. And I don't feel comfortable saying what the weapon was, but use your brain for this one, please. And she was
I love being told to use my brain by an illiterate toddler.
Finally able to escape, and her
There's no X in escape.
ex went to prison for it and now has a felony, but somehow this reaction channel was able to manipulate their audience into believing that Tommy is the abuser. This is why victims do not share their story, and the sad thing is, Tommy didn't share hers. Someone else did. And it wasn't even the right story. It's unfair, it's twisted.
Well, she doesn't know the right story because she only knows Emily's version of events. It's not like Amber is this ultimate, observer, God, who looked on this situation and could see both sides and made a fair judgment. Amber is believing the side she was told. Jordy didn't believe the side he was told. I think he actually probably did believe it because on balance it looked like it was true. But he took in and shared the story that he was told. But he said, my story the story I'm sharing might not be true, because I'm just being told this third hand. Amber is making out like Tommy is the complete honest individual. Tommy is a fucking feeder who, by the way, according to Amber, when she filmed this video, was already betraying her, going online, talking to other women. She knows Tommy, or Emily, sorry, I don't know why I'm calling her Tommy so much in this video, is a lying piece of shit. We know she's a feeding piece of shit, trying to make out that she's some sort of victim and expecting us all to believe that she wouldn't lie to you, that the story that you've told is completely true, is wild. Getting on camera and defending a person who could have been a victim of your girlfriend, which you later on go on to claim that you are a victim of her as well. It is so gross to make out that this person is lying when you, according to you, are being abused by the same individual. It's wild. Wild.
And it's morally wrong. This isn't a game. This isn't for money. This isn't for views. This is Tommy's real life that is being ruined, and her mental health is being destroyed.
Everything you do is for views and for money. And I honestly think this is part of where Amber's gone wrong. She's forgotten YouTube is her job. She goes on YouTube to make money and take home a paycheck. She's blurred the lines between her real life and her job because the content that she makes is part of her real life. And I think that's confused her and it's muddied the waters. Don't forget, Amber, you film and go on YouTube to make money. This is partially why I think she needs to commit to the lolcow thing and just make the content and be a train wreck, because that's what people want to see. You don't come to work to set the record straight with your employer about who you are or rumours about you. You come to work to make money, right? So she's saying here, this isn't for views, this isn't for content, this isn't for clicks. But that's exactly what this is. I think, anyway, that's exactly what this is.
Victim blaming, all because people want drama and someone to hate, is the grossest thing I've ever seen happen on Girl World. And thank you, Jordy, for reminding me why I hate this community and why I do not belong here anymore. This should
crazy. I mean, she says she hates the community and she doesn't belong here anymore. 9 months later, she's still here while she's on a break, but she'll be back because those bills are not going to pay themselves. Also, again, proof that this is not a journal entry style, thing to read. It's absolutely a statement because she ends it with that powerful blow. That's not how Amber talks. That's not how Amber speaks. That was Emily through and through. Let's listen to a little bit of the post-amble and see what she says.
have never happened. I should not have had to do this. Tommy should not have had her personal domestic abuse used for views and money on a reaction channel. That's not a reaction. That is downright hatred. And people wonder why I don't want to upload. People wonder where I am.
Well, the thing is, though, that when Jordy made these live streams, where he interviewed this person or spoke with this person, he named those videos things like "Get Out Amber" or "Be Careful Amber." The purpose of a fair amount of the critique that she got from reaction channels for dating Tommy were people saying to her, this person you're dating is dangerous. The diabetic in the basement, sorry, I hate calling it that, but that story was told to try and warn Amber and say to her, the relationship you're getting yourself into is bad and dangerous. Look what this person has been accused of. What the reaction channels were trying to do is tell Amber, you've got to get out. You've got to stop this. Stop looking for validation with this feeder. So for her to then go, this is just reaction channels making up a story and trying to create drama and make money. Sure, reaction channels are trying to make money. I completely admit that. But we were also trying to warn you We were trying to warn Amber about this person. And the irony is that if you give it 9 months and go down the line and watch Amber's live streams, she claims that Emily did exactly this to her. She claims that she was abused, and everyone goes, oh, well, we fucking told you so, but at the time, when we told her so, or Jordy told her so, this is how she responded, by defending Emily, defending somebody who during this period, according to her storyline, although I think she's lying, was betraying and abusing her when she made this video.
I was in an abusive relationship and I didn't want to deal with it anymore. I was super fucking depressed and I was miserable. People were saying that. Zachary Michael would constantly say how miserable I looked in Wisconsin. Well, I mean, he does work at the Amberlynn Reid factory, so he does know me pretty well. And he saw that. And I would deny it and deny it and deny it and deny it. Because who wants to admit that they're going through that? Not me.
Why do I seem so sad every time I come on camera?
Because you're in an abusive relationship, although I believe you're the perpetrator, because you're not getting your needs met, because you can't control this person. That's what I think.
This is why. Because before, it was, Amberlynn's so fat. She needs to lose weight. Step on the scale. But now things are serious. Reaction channels have morphed into something that is despicable. While I'm
Yeah, so she's saying, well, she's not making videos and she's not on YouTube because reaction channels are awful and the community is awful. She says she seemed sad and depressed and down at that time throughout all of those videos because she was in an abusive relationship with the person who Jordy is trying to warn her about in the live stream that she's talking about here, where he speaks with Megan's ex. So the way that this web is all twisted, and at the bottom line of all of it, Amber is a liar. Amber will not listen to good sense. Amber twists things to try and maintain her point of view. That is what we're actually seeing. That is what is actually revealed in this video, I think.
Trying to improve my life and myself as a person and work on my BPD, reaction channels have gotten worse. They're morphing into monsters. I'm not saying all of them because that's not the case, but there are a few.
I think it's funny that she would sit here and say that reaction channels are morphing into monsters when the following day she admits to morphing into a monster because of Emily.
My pain turned me into a monster because of what you did.
I just thought that was an interesting observation.
I should not be kicked off of a platform that I have been on for 11 years because I am this harassed. There is a difference between online hate versus straight up harassment that is destroying mine and my girlfriend's mental health.
Yeah, but you can't have a public platform where you talk about how you want to lose weight and you get advice and you build an audience who want you to lose weight. Granted, they also don't like you, but people on the whole probably do want to see Amber lose weight, or at least some people do, right? To have that type of following and that type of support and then date a person who is publicly a feeder, you cannot be surprised that people are like, what the fuck? Because that's exactly the opposite of what you said you're about. And again, in the live streams and, the later live streams where she goes back and talks about this period, she details how Emily was a feeder. And she knew the whole time. So don't come crying to me, hun, because you made this bed. You just try to maintain ignorance so that you can avoid accountability. And it's tiring.
And life. It's not okay. And I don't know what else to say about it. Every time I express myself, I am met with invalidation, and I am gaslighted into feeling this small. I am gaslighted into believing that I deserve this or that Tommy deserves this when we don't. So many of you scream, Tommy isn't good for you, Tommy's gonna hurt you. But it's being screamed by the people who are actively every single day hurting me.
Cut to the clip of her claiming that Tommy did in fact hurt her.
When I went to go walk into the bathroom, she kicked me. She's tall. She's taller than I am. She's like 5'7". She kicked me really hard in my stomach. Really hard. That is the only time that something like physical like that happened. And it was like right in my hernia, so that like really scared me, I will say that. Did you tell Mama Lynn Emily kicked you? Yeah. And I remembered she's actually kicked me twice. I forgot about the second time. I'm laying in bed trying to sleep, and my brain is like this, like insane. I was sitting on the couch one time again, during one of our arguments, and she wanted me to leave, and she wanted me to stop crying, and she was, like, laying on the couch, and I was, like, sitting, like, on the end of it. She literally kicked me off the couch, and I landed on the floor, and I had to have her help me get up.
Cut to the clip of her accusing Emily of only being into her for how she looked.
All she wanted was my body. I was just a body to her. I said that to her multiple times.
And you loved my size. You loved my legs. You loved my legs.
You loved my legs. That's a famous clip, right? It's funny because what she's saying in this video is her being mad that people are trying to warn her about her being hurt, and she then goes on to claim that she was hurt, but there's no apology, there's no admitting, the reaction channel's right, actually, I should have listened. No, because when she was accusing Emily of all of that stuff, she wasn't doing it because she was actually a victim sharing her story. She was doing it to push back at Emily or preemptively catch Emily, because she was about to be accused of DV and be accused of letting her cat out. So she tried to spin it around on Emily. So it's so interesting watching this after the fact. So fascinating to see how her mindset and her beliefs are so flip-floppy and just exist independent of any morality or any fact. She just wants to maintain the story that she's trying to tell at the time.
You don't care. You don't care about me. You don't care about my well-being. You get high off of the drama that my life brings to your channel, so you get views. And for the people watching and engaging in this sort of behavior, you are just as awful. This is a girl that is hurt. This is a girl that has been beaten and beaten and beaten, and it's like it only just keeps getting worse. And I personally don't know how much more I can take. I truly don't. This sort of behavior should not be allowed on YouTube. And I really hope that one day my voice is heard.
That's just so crazy when she's the one with a proven history of abusing, physically and otherwise, her ex-partners, and that she would sit here and play the victim like this. All the while, at the time, she is making Emily's life hell. Granted, Emily could have been doing that back to her. It's very possible. We're about to see the domestic violence hotline number come up. It was absolutely crazy then that she put this number in her video. It is even more crazy now with all of the allegations against her from Emily of physical stuff and the proof. If you want to know about the proof, watch this video. But it's just crazy that she put this number in this video, and then she later goes on to be accused of doing this very thing the following day on the 17th of November to Emily. Wild.
If you're currently suffering with domestic violence, there is a national domestic violence hotline that you can call. You are not alone. The number is 800-799-7233, or you can text BEGIN to 88788. Do not let stories like these, like victim shaming or victim blaming, scare you into not getting help, because there are people who are there for you. Use your voice. You are loved and not alone.
Crazy. When you think about what she did the next day, it is crazy that she made this video. It is crazy that she put this card into this video and then the next day dug her nails into Emily's skin, potentially body slammed her or fell on her or pushed her, mocked Emily's voice. That clip lives rent-free in my head where she mocks Emily claiming she was pushed.
How come you pushed me? I'm like, what is actually happening?
We've got her allegedly harming Crystal and Feline, definitely Casey, throwing something at Destiny's head, which is 4 people, digging her fingers into Emily's skin. We've got the financial and mental abuse of Beck. I mean, the fact that this individual would make this video at this time as well, it is wild. It's got to be up there with some of the worst stuff she's ever done. Well, I'm not going to sit here and say I enjoyed that, because I certainly didn't enjoy it, but I absolutely found it fascinating. I can't wait to read you guys' comments on this one, because my God, there is a lot to say. I don't know if there's any helping Amber. I think since all of this happened and she's taken this break, if you compare the way she showed up and looked in her videos, a few months ago compared to these live streams we've seen recently, it really is giving 2019. We're moving backwards in terms of her health and her mobility. But if we look at the sort of person she is and the sort of stuff she did, she hasn't changed. She is exactly the same now as she has always been, lying, manipulating storylines, trying to make other people look bad, claiming to be the victim, even though there is proof and a string, I mean a long ass string of people who all claim that she is awful, and yet she expects us to believe that she is the one who's been wronged every single time. It's just so unlikely. Well, that was that. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks again for all of your support on my channel over the last little while. I'm going to go now, going to have a break. I'm hoping that Girl World doesn't explode while I'm away and can't make any videos, but I will be keeping my eye on things. So let's hope for a nice quiet week so I don't have too much work to do when I get back, but that might be pie in the sky. Thank you so much again for watching. Do follow me on Instagram if you want to see my holiday antics. And yeah, okay, that's it. I'll see you later. Take care. Bye.